Hi boys and girls, in today's video we're going to be working on making a paper weaving. In today's video I'm going to be using different colors of construction paper, but if you don't have that lying around the house, you're welcome to use any sort of paper that you can find lying around. You could use newspaper, you can use maybe some leftover scraps of paper that you have lying around the house, maybe some junk mail you can cut up into different pieces. You can just use regular old printer paper. Even if you find ribbons laying around, those could be excellent strips to use for paper weaving. So get creative and think about all different kinds of things that you can use for your paper weaving today. I'm so excited to see what you create and I can't wait to get started. All right, boys and girls, so to begin, I have a sheet of paper here. This sheet of paper is a 9 by 12 sheet of paper, and I have all different colors here. You can use just about any size as long as it's a square or rectangle sheet of paper. I'm actually going to start by folding this sheet of paper in half so that it is hamburger style. That means that the two short edges are going to touch. I want to make sure that the corners line up nice and evenly like this. I'm going to hold my one side down with my helper hand and the other hand will fold it. I'm going to give it a nice solid crease and then I will let it go. Now I'm going to turn it on its side and I'm actually going to give just this top flap here one little fold. This is what I'm going to refer to as my stop line. I'm going to unfold it just a little bit. When I look at this stop line right here, that's my cue to stop cutting. I'm going to cut lines all the way across here, about 1 inch thick. Doesn't have to be totally perfect. Oh, and I stopped at the stop line. 2, 3, make sure you stop at that stop line every time. So now it might look a little bit like a crazy hula skirt, but you should see all of these little strips coming down. Now, when you open it up, there's going to be a bunch of different strips. You can see that they're not falling apart, and that's because we didn't cut all the way through to the end. That's why it's so important that you have this stop line. If you kept cutting, it would have made this whole piece here fall apart. It's important that this stays together because this is called your loom. You are going to be weaving your paper strips through your loom, and I'll show you how in a minute. For now, I'm going to be cutting some more paper strips that I can do my weaving with. All right, now that I've cut all my strips, it's time to start weaving. When you're weaving, it's important to follow a very specific pattern, and that pattern is over, under, over, under. Here, I'll show you. I'm going to start with one of my strips, and I'll start with this orange strip going across. I want it to go over my first strip and under the next strip, over the next, under the next, over, under, over, under, and then over. When it's finished going all the way through, I'll slide it all the way down to the bottom. Now it's important to alternate on the next row. I'm going to choose a different color for the next row. I'll choose green. If I went over the first strip on this row here, the orange is over top of the red row, I'm going to make sure to go under on the next row. So I'll go underneath this time. Under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and then I'll push it all the way down. This takes some practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually quite simple. So you might need a minute to work with this, but be patient with yourself and take your time. Remember to check each and every time to make sure that you're seeing a color, then red, a color, then red. For me, I'll be seeing orange, red, and here I'll be seeing red, green, because I'm doing an alternating pattern. All right, I'm gonna go a bit faster now. All right, now that I've made my strips going horizontally, I can practice putting strips up this way as well. Remember to make sure that your strips are going over, under, just like you would on this side. Let's try. Cool. That adds a little bit more detail and makes it look a lot more interesting. I'm gonna go a bit faster now. All right, it looks like my design is finished, so it's time to trim some of the edges and to glue them in place. Some of these are hanging off just a bit because I cut them a little bit long, and that's totally fine, but I am going to trim them just so that they don't hang off quite as much. I'm gonna be gentle because some of these are not sitting quite in place yet. As you can see, they wanna move around a bit. I'll fix that with some glue. All you need to do to get your pieces to stick in place is to get a glue stick or a glue bottle and lift up any edges that are not stuck in place. Remember to hold them down for a few seconds to make sure that they stick. If you're using a glue bottle, remember that you need just a dot, not a lot. And there you have it, friends. You have finished your paper weaving. If you want this evening, you can use this paper weaving as a placemat for your dinner. You can put your plate on it and you can eat right on top of it. It's a great way to share your art with your family. Totally up to you. You can make your paper weaving as detailed or as simple as you'd like it to be. It's up to you and however much of a challenge you'd like to have in your artwork today. So have fun and happy art making. I cannot wait to see what you guys create today.